Hi, I'm Jensen. I write books. I have written 9 novels and several short stories, and I've published one book. And today I want to talk about how I write books and how I plan to publish them in the future. Because I have one book out. It's been out for 3.5 years now, and nary a sign of the next one in sight, even though I've written so many novels since then. So I thought I would just have like a little chat. I have a blue matcha latte from Chamberlain Coffee in my mason jar today with my little sunflower on it. And I'm just going to talk about like my process for writing and then how I actually like plan to publish my future writing. So, and you probably know bits and pieces if you've been here before. But if you haven't, hi, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here. Let's get right into the video. So I plan on doing a more in-depth process video at some point because I'm currently going through every novel I've ever written, which again, there's 9 of them, so it takes a while. And I'm creating like a process journal for it to like see how my process differed from novel to novel. So yeah, we're doing that. So my process has refined over time, like from the very first novel I wrote to like my latest novel, my secret sci-fi that I'm working on right now. There's been a lot of changes, but let's like stick to like my general structure and know that this is not a hard and fast rule. And if your process is different, that's okay. Like, we're all okay here. We're all doing great. So the first thing I do is I come up with an idea. And I feel like it's mostly non-writers who ask me, how do I come up with ideas? I specialize in fairy tale retelling, so often I start with like a fairy tale or a classic folklore. And I go from there as like a jumping off point. But I always had a super active imagination. Like when I was a kid, I was always like, playing with my Barbies and my Polly Pockets and my Littlest Pet Shops and making stories about them. So stories come pretty easily to me, which is probably why I've written so many novels and I have so many more underway. Because if you missed it, I am writing 6 new novels this year. That's a lot. Anyways. The next thing after I come up with an idea is I brainstorm, world build, and I build a plot skeleton. And for the most part, I am a discovery writer, but I like having like points on the map to like tell me where I'm heading next. One book that is like different notably for, because I like to write linearly, is I drafted Dauntless non-linearly. And it worked like well for that project, but I think that was because of the environment in which I was drafting it in. I first started writing Dauntless in my creative writing capstone class at university. If you would like to see a video on like my creative writing degree, let me know. And like things I learned from that, let me know. But I did the key scenes for Dauntless in a couple months, a semester. And then after the semester, I wrote the rest of the book connecting the key scenes. So I like having points on the map. I usually don't write those key scenes first, but every once in a while, I can't help myself and I write the fun, exciting part first. So generally, I need to like kind of dangle the carrot for myself, so I actually write the boring parts, not the boring parts, but the connecting parts, because novels are more than just exciting scenes. They're also rest scenes, so that's important. So after I've come up with the general world building and a plot skeleton and I've brainstormed my characters and everything, I do draft 1, and draft 1 can take me anywhere from, in actual drafting time, I probably do most of my drafts in a couple months, like 2 to 3 months. Sometimes I take a break after I write the first 5,000 words of the draft, and I don't come back to it for a couple of years. Oops. Sorry. So anyways, I do my first draft, and then I take a shelf rest. And before I take shelf rest, I make notes, and I talk about it in my revision video about how I can put a card up there if I remember. I make a list of what I need to do in revisions, and I put on a shelf rest for a couple months, usually 1 to 3 months. Then I do draft 2. Then I send it to my alpha readers, which is, for me, is my writing group, Shady Oaks Writing Group. I love them. They are so good. The difference between alpha readers and beta readers are, because I'm sure this is a question that's going to come up, is alpha readers are other writers, and they like are looking at earlier drafts of my work. Whereas beta readers are just that. They're readers, and they're looking at later drafts of my work. At least for me, that's the distinction. After my draft 2 goes to my alpha readers, and they give me back all their comments, I'll do a third draft Then I send it to beta readers, and I'll put after the beta readers give me their feedback, I'll put in like final touches, fixing any plot holes they miss. And usually this is not substantial enough revision for me to qualify it as another draft. Sometimes it is. Like Dauntless, I would say definitely have like 4 or 5 drafts. But generally I'm a 3 draft kind of person. Like it works really well for me. And then after that, and I don't know if you're keeping track of the steps, but this is step number 10. And I thought it was very nice. My process rounded out to 10 steps. But then I go to career publication. Now we get to talk about career publication. So my first book, All Hail the Queen of Hearts. One sec, let me get it. So my first book, All Hail the Queen of Hearts, I indie published this book, which I'm really proud of it. It is a very early example of my writing now. I wrote it pretty much all in 2018, and then like by 2021 I had published it. And that's like not like slow, but not fast either. Like I feel like that's pretty average. It's take 3 years to write your first book. Maybe not. I don't know. I did the first draft during NaNoWriMo in 2018, and then I did my like shelf rest. It doesn't help when I do a 3-month break, and anyways, so complicated. But I did indie publish this. What it looked like for me was I had a friend do my cover. I had a friend help me with the formatting, which I feel very lucky to have friends who are so willing to help me publish my first book. I know that's not the case for everyone. Now I do know how to do everything. I could even design a cover, but it wouldn't look as good as I feel like as like a professionally designed cover. But anyways, I know how to do all the copy fitting stuff myself, and I'm actually going to probably be copy fitting my friend Will's book, which is hopefully coming out in September this year. It's the first in the fantasy trilogy, and I'm really excited about it. But then after I self-published, I've sold at book signings, I've sold at farmers markets. I've just been like, I've done a lot of book events, and I've been doing a lot of the marketing, but it's definitely died down in the 3.5 years since I published it. And that's because I've decided I wanted to traditional publish next. I kind of always knew I wanted to traditional publish. I didn't know how to go about it though for a really long time, and I also wanted to have the experience of indie publishing, and I figured it would be easier to indie publish first than to indie publish later, because I feel like once you're in trad publishing, you're just kind of like in trad publishing. And I feel like I don't see a lot of hybrid authors like start trad then go indie, and I see way more indies start out and then going trad. That was like always my goal, is to go trad. And I queried one of my books, Witch's Blood, which I think was book number 5 that I wrote, maybe book number 6. I lose track. Is it 5 or 6? I don't know. I'll have to like look at a note I have somewhere. Surely I have a note of the order I wrote my books in. But I published Witch's Blood for a year or 2, and then I wasn't very diligent about it. I think I only sent out like 50 queries over those 2 years. And before realizing this just wasn't working, my query wasn't strong enough, even if the book is strong enough. But also the first chapter, that is not my best work, and I just hate the first chapter every time I read it. But it's just also probably because I've read it so many times. Anyways, I'm very proud of Witch's Blood. More proud of Witch's Blood than I am of All Hail the Queen of Hearts, which is wild to me, because once upon a time I thought I would never be more proud of anything than I am of my Wonderland series. But like, I started my query journey with Witch's Blood. I'm about to move into Dauntless for querying, and I have much higher hopes about Dauntless than I ever did about Witch's Blood. Witch's Blood is like a good book, but it's not as high concept as Dauntless is. I keep mixing them up. That's fine. But like, I'm trying to trad publish, and I'm actually working on a vlog about querying Dauntless, and I'm hoping that it ends with me getting an agent. But obviously that's out of my control. I can only control how many queries I send, but also I'm so delusional. I think it's going to go so well for me. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of just making videos to make videos right now, because I have no motivation to make the Scrivener one, and I am frankly very overwhelmed with everything going on in the world right now and in my own life. Like last weekend, I thought that I had cancer because an urgent care told me so. And urgent care was wrong. I don't have cancer. I'm fine. But it was very stressful. And then there was the inauguration, and I don't want to talk about all of it, but like, and then I went viral on Threads. And I'm just like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I would really rather not. It's just scary to me. But anyways, fun stuff. I would like to know in the comments what your process looks like and what your publication plans are if you want to publish. And if you don't want to publish, that's still super valid. So, anyways, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being here. I love you. Mwah.